Hey fourth grade, this next assignment we are going to be using value and we're going to practice shading crystals because our upcoming project will be the annual fourth grade crystal project where we're going to be painting our own crystals. You're not going to be using this page just yet, so set that aside. This is the page you're going to use for this week's activity. Feel free to rip it out so you can practice using your value shading skills that we went over last week. And we're going to try to get these crystals that I drew and copied for you guys to look more realistic by using this value technique. So what you're going to want to use is colored pencils for this activity. And just like we did with our value scales, we're trying to get our colored pencils to gradually go from dark to light. And something that I want you guys to try to do is make sure every single side of the crystal, so all the different areas, should look differently than the one right next to it. That's going to help show that these crystals have all of these different sides. So in this center part here, I tried going from dark to light. What I'm going to do on this side here is have it so just a little bit lighter than the one next to it, but near the edge I want the outside area to look a little darker. These ones at the top, I like getting them to go from dark to light because they usually look really cool when we do that. So just play around using that value technique. Pressing down a little bit harder and then loosening up the pressure a little bit as you move throughout the side. And really, there's no wrong way to do this. You just want to make sure every point, every side on the crystal looks a little differently. Now this one down here, something I'm going to do is use two colors. Now look at the color wheel that I have posted. You can use any two colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel. So, for example, I'm using blue and green because if I look at the color wheel, blue and green are right next to each other. So they're going to blend together very nicely. I wouldn't want to use blue and orange, for example, because that's all the way across the color wheel. That would actually make it look brown. So this crystal right here is my inspiration. See how the green and the blue blend very nicely together. So you don't have to use only one color when you do this. You can have some fun using the color wheel and choosing colors that are right next door. We call those analogous colors. We learned about them in second grade. Now with this point here, this is something that I had a fun time coloring this one. If you see the purple crystal in the center, what I did for these crazy shapes here is start a little bit more pressure towards the outside area and gradually work my way inside, getting lighter and lighter on both sides of this little area and kind of leaving it just a little bit of white in the middle. That's going to make it look like a shine. So having my color go from dark to light from the outside working in is going to help make it look more three-dimensional. In this centerpiece, I'm going from dark to light and then working my way back to dark. So that's something you could do as well. Don't just go from dark to light. Try to go both ways. Go dark to light and work your way back to dark. That's an important skill to practice. So really what you're trying to do is get every little side just to look different than the one right next to it. That's going to help us visualize the fact that these are all separate areas of the crystal. If we shaded the whole thing all the same shade, it would not look realistic. So again, this is just a practice activity, but I do want you to try it because next week we're going to learn how to draw our own crystals. Then we're going to use watercolor to paint them. And if you don't have watercolor, I'm going to show you a trick how to improvise using Crayola markers. Have fun with this and please take your time. I can't wait to see how you do.